Hi there, welcome back to Torment, Tides of Numenera. This is your host Immanuel playing our explorer, and we're going to ask the Genocide about the history of him and about what he is. We want to know the full story. He watches you hardly moving, as if he hopes you will pass by quickly. What are you, living monument? I am a blade that cannot cut, a weapon that cannot strike, a living monument to failure. Shifts his weight. You hear the frown in his voice. I was Ojesti Telkotu, the firm hand of tradition. They called me one of the Black Three. Enemies did not understand, as they took my name to mean death in a dozen extinct tongues. Called me Orphan Maker, Hope Smasher, Death's Child. My armies blackened the earth and the skies. My Dragoliths scoured the land. Domination was my duty. If they had known, if they had welcomed us, they might have been our thralls. Instead they became dust. He gestures. All this, it was to have been mine in stewardship for the future of my people. It was promised, but now... His arm falls back to its side. Now I am the Genocide, a relict, the last of my kind. You said you were the last of your kind. Why? I know of no others. Kalagat Anvor, he who shares truth and understanding, is dead. Vostule Lo, the blinding light of reason, was destroyed. The underspine has fallen, my people are destroyed utterly, and our servant God speaks to us no longer. The clean lines of order and the glory of battle have forsaken us. The rest are dust. We rose against a superior foe and were outmatched. Only I remain to tell the story of the Tabaht. You said you had to answer, if I asked why. From within the helmet you hear a grinding noise, the sound of teeth gnashing amplified. Then the voice again, bleak. We sat at the river's edge and we wept for the time that was. We saw nothing more to conquer, and yet our fears still drove us. We had conquered the land, purged its impurities, made it ours. Still we wanted more. When we heard that humans had come to carve a home, we rejoiced to have a new foe, a new test of our truth. We rode against them. We drove them to the forge of the night sky, to the valley of Mrajolius, to the dangers of the Black Riage. But those who built atop these ruins, they thwarted us, time and again. And so we brought our constructs and our deadliest warriors to the bay outside the city. We led a mighty siege. We entered the human settlement. We fought past barricades and traps. Some of our constructs are still here, silent and dead. But when we thought we had achieved our greatest victory, he lowers his head. A powerful Nano saved them. With his magics he called upon the strength of the ancients and captured us. I thought my life was at an end, but he imprisoned me in slow time, trapped me in my body, used machines to paralyze my will. I still remember our glories, and I see the faded future in front of me, and I am powerless to act. The memories of our triumphs remain always at the forefront of my mind, and I must answer the mocking questions of these people or suffer. Can you tell me about the Nano who trapped you here? How did he stop you? The Genocide raises his hands in defeat. He found old knowledge and made it his own. He created defenses that we could not penetrate. Most telling, most effective, the shield generators. He created 3 barriers around the heart of the city, and the last unmoored the city in time. When our constructs touched it, they flashed to stasis. We could not reach the city, but the city could reach us. You feel the ticklings of memory as the Genocide speaks of the shields. He continues to talk, oblivious. Let the memory come. It's a patchy memory, coming in still images and moments, the relentless beat of the war machines as they approach the city, the reavers in the sky on the dirigibles. You remember fighting them on the parapet. You remember fleeing into the safety of the city. You recall making your way to the shield generators, cutting off the Tabaht supply lines, and then the memory fades. The Genocide watches you silently. You seem very calm for someone who has been imprisoned for centuries. I have been defeated. I have nothing to fight for. My captor castrated me. The tool they made to dampen my natural urges. I can remember the actions, I can recall the glory, but I feel shame, regret. I am weakened, but not by my volition. The Genocide squeezes his fists. What does it matter? Those who stood against me are all dead. I am victorious. I no longer fight with a blade. My weapon is time. He leans in closer. I do not die. I cannot be wounded. I am held like a beetle in sap. Why would I not be serene? Settles back. The Underspine spoke of my destiny. I was to wage war unto the edge of the universe, but the universe keeps going, and so it seems must I. Someday I will be free, someday. Until then, I am incorruptible. How did they stop you from trying to escape? A Nano who raised the city's shields created a device. He called it the Mind Seer. With it, he violated my mind, my memories, and everything that was at the core of my being. In a fit of vengeance, he tore truths from me. He made me betray my people. He rewrote my mind. He gave me perfect clarity into the past and gelded my ability to shape the future. The Tabaht never sought revenge against foes who were mightier than we. We devised stratagems to defeat them. We tested ourselves. We did not punish or hate. Punishment was purification. This, though, is torture. The worst of the city's refuse can mock me now. They can ridicule and jape, and I am powerless to strike them for their impudence. Then quieter, and now they do not even do that. I have become a fixture, an irrelevance, a non-entity. I am the slave to... You hear his teeth grinding as he thinks of the perfect insult. To peacemakers. I must endure their presence and feel their corruption sink into me daily. Some foreign part of me desires it. He thumps his fist into his hand. But I remember that I will triumph over them eventually. They will die, and I will not. You mentioned the Tabaht. Who or what were they? My people. His voice is forlorn. Great warriors. We owned this land. We served the Underspine, and it served us. We saw truth in victory. We ascended to epiphany. We were pure, incorruptible, indivisible, even in disunity. We found strength in one another and proved it with bloody blades, but we fell. And the Underspine fell. And so, too late, we learned a new truth. But I carry the old ways as a seed within my heart. Why did the Tabaht fight so much? For honor, for truth, for the one way, because it was our duty. We were born to the blade, so it was written, so we chose. Free will is a curse unless given to a greater purpose. Our purpose was given to us by the Underspine, given to the Underspine by our ancestors who founded and crystallized our essence forever. Can you tell me more about this Underspine? Our slave, our god, our price. It kept us holy, kept us pure and unchanging, anchored to a fixed point. The world turned around us, but we remained constant. And the world brought inconstancy. We fed it blood. The underspine was our soul, our confessor. We knew clean, hard rapture from it. We knew our path. It gave us the words of the ancient Tabaht. And our path was rigid and unbending, absolute. Yeah, but what was the underspine? What material existence did it have? He considers, you would not understand. It was a machine, it was a stone, it was a cavern, it was a city. It was the direct voice of our ancestors. It spoke in our heads and in our ears and in our hearts. We heard its voice in our creatures, in our daily instructions. Our God was true and strong and singular, not the fickle, inconstant things of the modern day. What happened to it? The underspine. You can hear the frown in his voice. Sabotage or failure. One of those under my command told me that it had whispered defeat into his ears, as if it had sickened, lost sight of the true path. Given the question, the underspine denied this. My soldier was cast out, and I suffered the barb for his doubt. It was later, years later, that the underspine broke. After our failure, and I have never been sure if the seeds for our defeat were planted in those days. He shuffles his feet. The Nano who captured me, who nailed me to time, he used the Mindseer to ferret out the underspine's location. I do not know if he ever found it in the world. He raped a genocide from me and mocked me with his sobriquet. I was not to blame. I will stand before the underspine and swear my innocence. What's the benefit of an absolute path? We had no questions about our duty, about our goals, only the particulars. We erased doubts in the purity of utter certainty. Questions raised are questions answered, or they are heresy. No need for self-agony. The necessity of introspection was transmuted into optimization of our paths, into fashioning ourselves into the pinnacle of our achievement. Clear definition in life creates truth, not this pitiful shadow. What if your path was unbending? It's no wonder you broke. I do not bend now. I have been driven down, but I do not bend. I live. And those stood against me are dead. He turns away from you slightly. Do you have more questions, or do you release me? Let me ask about something else. Feel the Genocide's gaze upon you through the visor, but he is silent. You mentioned the shield generators. Can you tell me about them? I told you their effect. They unmoored the city in time. They severed our supply lines. They left us vulnerable and defeated us. The Underspine's strategy failed us. I began to doubt. He shifts slightly. The generators are unused, abandoned, their purpose forgotten. Though the people of this city still swear by our name, and our terrors are fresh in their nightmares despite the passage of centuries, they have forgotten the means of their salvation. This one beside me no longer functions, but one of the others is buried in the ground not far from here, and has not yet failed. It powers the clock around which those ridiculous fools prance. Aha. powers the clock. So, the Nano who defeated you, now we'll finally tell him, was the changing god. He and his children still live. His voice is flat and dead. Others have claimed this. I do not know if they say this to torment me, but if our enemy was a god, even if he was once but a man, then to stand against him is to spit in the face of the divine. The Tabaht were a holy people. Humans do not believe it, but our rites were as sacred to us as they were profane to your kind. We accepted the will of the ineffable. And who still live, any who still live may yet find the mantle of godhood. To be divine is to be beyond the rule of mortal ethics. Those who would be gods must cast aside these concerns if they are to turn against the old teachings. Whoa. This goes deep and hurtful. About the shield generators. They unmoored the city. Most have broken. One powers the nearby clock. Alright. Only some up questions. Thank you for your story, Genocide. We will record it. I have no more questions. Farewell. No, I wish you no good tidings. There's something here.
Yes.
The stones. Oh, look at that. There's something falling down. A jumble of boulders and debris lies at the foot of the surrounding cliffside. The broken remains of ancient devices lie amongst the fallen stone. While off to one side, a metallic canister sticks out of the top of the pile. It appears mostly intact. Examine the rocks first. You notice a slight gleam as the light hits some of the rocks. At just the right angle, you lean closer. Tiny mechanical devices are embedded in the rock. A quick search of the rest of the pile reveals that only a small percentage of the rocks are more than they appear. We'll smash the stones to extract what we can. 60%. And he. 65. And she. 60. Yeah, well, we'll try with Tabaht. Can you do it? He did it. Success! You gather up all the stones you can find with machinery close to their surface and set to work. Soon you have a tidy pile of components that should serve as shins. Oh, very nice. We've gained some shins. Examine the canister. Now we can buy one more rest. Leaning over, you notice that the container is hollow, with an opening in the top providing full access to the interior. A quick glance reveals that it is empty. While most of the canister is relatively intact, a small part of its exterior wall has been pried open, exposing delicate mechanisms. Scavenge what you can from the canister. We're really bad at this. Is she better? 40%? We're at 45. And of course, Tabaht. Come on, do it, man. Do it. Success. Using the pried open panel as a starting point, you delicately disassemble the exterior of the canister and manage to retrieve a fair number of intact components. More shins. Leave the canister and pile of rocks alone. Now, we've heard a story, so our mind is rich. We've discovered some shins, so our coffers are full, and we are rich there. I hope you're rich now too, for you have heard the story of the genocide as well. So, see you in the next episode, and happy gaming to you. Have a good time. This is Immanuel signing out.